Xbox keeps improving the user interface experience for cloud, handheld, the Xbox app, all these things that are going to eventually translate over to the entire ecosystem. Blizzard looks like they're hiring for a new StarCraft game, but not in the same vein as the other StarCraft games, which is very interesting. We have an announcement for a handheld that looks insane but very expensive. And how long is this current generation going to last for the Xbox Series X and S? Before we do get into it, if you enjoy daily Xbox and gaming content, make sure to hit the subscribe and share and like. It really does help the channel. For now, let's get into it. So as we know, we've been talking about this is the user interface. Where is Xbox going with how are they going to give their gamers, their players, the same experience no matter where they are playing? Because Xbox really is everywhere. When you think about it, the app, if it's on any screen, you're getting access to your Xbox catalog of games. They're going to be bringing backwards compatibility, console games, all of that into the future. So you're going to have everything, and the experience needs to be the same across the board. So when you jump in, you know exactly where you're going, and it needs to be smooth and all of that. And hopefully they can actually make it better than it currently is on the console. Take some ideas and some changes that people have complained about and bring it over to the user interface that they are currently working on. They've given us an update and they've given us a look into the future with the current cloud one. It's in a beta form right now. You can see it, or you can get access to it. Not everybody has access to, but you can select whether you want to use it, and it's much better, I think, than what we have right now. And I think that they're going to continue to iterate off of that. But one of the things that they are adding here, which really shows you they're trying to make PC and console the same in the way that it sounds, in the way that the experience that you do have when you are using the Xbox UI, is they are adding here sound. I know this is a small thing, but the sound on your Xbox console is distinct. Like, you know, by some of the tones when you're going through, swiping through games, hitting the Xbox button and the sidebar pops up and everything, you know you're on an Xbox when you hear these certain sounds. And it looks like here that the dashboard sounds have been added to the PC and the ROG Xbox Ally dashboard. You have Tom Warren here who has put this out, and if you go onto your Xbox PC app right now, you probably can experience the same thing as well. But basically going from the different tiles, clicking on Game Pass, all of that, you're actually getting the Xbox sound. See if I can just pull it up here so you can hear it at the same time. And you can see the sound there going from the different apps and everything. Exactly what it is like on your Xbox console when you do end up playing on the console itself. So that part's cool. You can really tell that they are merging the two devices together. We go through in the comments. This person says, I still have no idea how to get the FSC on the Xbox PC app. Well, you have to get into to get FSC, you actually have to be an insider right now. Hasn't been rolled out to everybody. So if that person somehow is watching this video, that's your answer. It's only for insiders. Was it there before? I think this is a massive win for the Legion Go and Ally users. Having those familiar audio cues makes the handheld experience feel like a proper portable console rather than just a tiny Windows desktop. And I would 100% agree. Although this is a small improvement, it is big, because if you look at something like SteamOS, the sounds that SteamOS does provide to you actually makes it feel more like a console experience and an overall better experience. We have more here. Believe it or not, the lack of sounds has been my biggest UX gripe with the ROG Xbox Ally. So there you have it. There's another person that thinks this is a good thing. The person says, can I turn off those sounds? I'm confused. The cloud UI is way better than the PC app. They talk about unified UI across all devices, which suggests the PC app would also get the same UI as the cloud. Why waste resources on this? Because it's going to eventually be coming over. All of this is going to be unified and we're going to have the same experience. They test it out on the different parts of Xbox before they roll it out to all of the different access points. I mean, that is obvious thing here. They're testing out the new cloud one. They're going to bring that over to the PC app. Then they're going to bring that over to the console as well in the next generation, and whenever the next one does come out. And that to me is good because I really do like it. So cool stuff there. Now, when it comes to the next generation, we have talked about this previously, but I wanted to go over it here because right now it is a very weird time when it comes to pricing of consoles. A lot of people still think that the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are not hitting their potential. Like, you could still get more out of it, and I would agree to some extent. You could still get more of it. We've seen games at the end of generations look night and day than where they were at the beginning of generation, and performance, all of that. Series X, I think you could still see a lot more power pulled out of it. And the thing here is as well, console prices are going up. These are not selling. Next generation is going to be even more expensive. And I've talked about this previously. Even on the PlayStation side, the PS6 is going to launch at a very high price point. So if you're thinking that all of the same people who bought the PS5 at launch are going to go run out and buy the PS6 at launch, there is going to be less people actually buying consoles next generation. Right now, consoles are stagnated. I think the number is going to shrink because of the prices of where they are going. And obviously putting your games in more places is that strategy to offset that. The other strategy to offset that will be making this current generation last extremely long, to a point where once all of the RAM shortages are done, once all of the tariffs and all of the market stuff is over and done with and the world goes back to normal, then the prices can easily go and drop. And I think Xbox is going to have a point where the Series X is extremely cheap, and they're going to try to leave that there for a long time, so people who don't or can't afford whatever's coming in the next generation will still potentially, if they want a console, will go pick up an Xbox Series X. And in fact, we have a confirmation here about that pretty much, where we had just Corden here saying, I'm told Microsoft expects the Gen 9 Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 to have a longer tail than usual as a result of this broadening hardware endpoint ecosystem. It's only been recently that the PS4 and the Xbox One consoles have stopped seeing full complement of major AAA games, with many service games still maintained on those older systems. That is one of the major things here. They see what people are playing. Games that are going to be coming out for the next generation, a lot of those will still be able to be played on the Series X. And then they will see that people are still playing the same games that they always play that are currently even running on the Xbox One when the next generation comes out. So why cut off the Gen 9 consoles? They'll keep those out there for a while, and then potentially if the price gets low enough, you'll see people actually potentially opting for that rather than spending $900 on the Gen 10 console or whatever the price is going to be, because it will be pricey. PS6 will be pricey, next Xbox will be very pricey, and what they're doing with that is they're going to shrink the amount of people that actually do buy console, which is why you're seeing them put their games onto different platforms, and why you're seeing PlayStation put games on PC, because they still need to sell their games. It also says this when it comes to cloud gaming mine and the Series X and S and all of that. Developers of all shapes and sizes, Microsoft included, are building games that target the Nintendo Switch 2, Steam Deck, and the lower end types of devices, and that'll continue for a good chunk of time even after the next gen Xbox launches. And Xbox has an advantage here because they have a handheld out, so that's already a lower end spec, so games are targeting that, and they already have like certified for the handheld, which is a very good thing. The Series S is a lower end spec. Games have been targeting that for years, so it'll be easier, I think, with the next gen to continuously target the lower end specs. And the fact that handhelds are growing more and more, developers want to get their games into the hands of as many people as possible. PC handhelds are taking off. We keep getting new ones, but what's crazy about PC handhelds as well is that we are at this weird point that they're getting even more expensive because they're getting even more powerful. We, at this point, when you look past the Xbox Ally X, which is a great device, plays most games well for a handheld version of it, you have the AMD AI 395 Max and 385, and those chips are going to be with the next gen handhelds, and those really will give you that full console experience. Like, you're getting great results with those chips, but they'll be very expensive. Those prices for handhelds will continue to go up. And that's where the weird thing comes in. Hardware is getting insanely expensive. Cloud's going to be important. And we have even more proof of this. AYANEO, they announced their early bird pricing for the Next 2 gaming handheld. Now, this thing looks phenomenal. Looks absolutely phenomenal. I would love to have this, but it is insane what the price is for these devices. So this is going to be anything you want. I mean, you can put SteamOS, you can put Xbox full screen experience. This could be your Xbox handheld if you want to upgrade from the ROG Xbox Ally devices. But they've announced their early bird pricing for the Next 2 gaming handheld starts at $17.99 for 32 gigabyte / 1 terabyte configuration. So 32 GB RAM, 1 terabyte memory. And this goes all the way up to pushing $4,500 range. $4,299 if you want the the max one, that will be the regular pricing for. But why these are so expensive, if you're asking, oh, how is this so expensive? How is this more expensive than the AYANEO? Is because thing is going to destroy the AYANEO in terms of performance and what you're getting out of it. First of all, it's a 9-inch OLED display. OLED beats any LCD in your experience. Like, it really gives you a better gaming experience. If you are looking right now to upgrade your hardware, look at your TV first. If you don't have an OLED, I would recommend picking that up, and that alone gives you a better gaming experience. 165 hertz refresh rate, a resolution of 2400 by 1504, which is kind of weird. That is a very odd resolution, but it has the Ryzen AI Max 385 or the Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 configurations, which those chips are giving you better experiences right now than the Z2 Extreme. And I think by a significant margin. Like, this is that next jump, next generation of handhelds is this. It was never really the Z2 Extreme. This here is going to be that next jump in the generations of handhelds. That's where you'll probably see the Steam Deck 2 come in, utilizing one of these here. But you're getting the AI Max 385, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabyte for $17.99. Regular pricing will be $19.99. The 395, 64 gig, 2 terabyte, $22.99. Regular pricing $26.99. And the 395, 128 gigabyte of RAM plus 2 terabytes, $34.99, or regular pricing of $42.99. It's pretty insane. It's pretty nuts where we're going with the ability to actually play major AAA games in your hands at a very high performance. But this is it. This is where the handhelds are going to be. The thing looks very good. I mean, it has dual mode trigger locks, 8-way D-pad, dual smart touchpad. So you're going to be able to navigate if you need a mouse, but I would just put Windows full screen experience or potentially SteamOS on there. You have 160 watt hour ultra large battery, TMR joysticks with adjustable torque, which is extremely important, and 40 compute units. They say here it's ready to deliver a smooth gaming experience in modern titles, but at a 1504p resolution, it's going to be difficult for the handheld to push the frame rates above 100 in modern intensive titles. I mean, in a handheld, I'm okay with the 60 FPS. We're getting close to 100 in the handheld at a good resolution. Just crazy. But it's an insane time here when it comes to this stuff. And it just continues to get better, but also more expensive. And that's where the hardware is going, which is why when we see people talking about the cloud and keeping these older consoles alive for a long time, it's because a lot of people just can't afford this or don't want to spend that type of money on this hardware. But handhelds aside, one of those games that will be a next big AAA game is going to be Blizzard's next StarCraft game. This is pretty exciting. We could see StarCraft come back, but not in its regular form, actually in a third person or first person shooter perspective. And I honestly think that's pretty cool. I would love to see a regular new StarCraft game, but if there's this universe, you could absolutely make different genres from. So I hope this does end up really coming true and that this game does get developed. So Blizzard here is hiring engineer focusing on vehicle simulation, and this is for potentially driving siege tanks in the upcoming StarCraft shooter. So they mentioned here that, reported upon first by Bloomberg, Blizzard is working on a StarCraft shooter of sorts, rumored to be led by Far Cry alumni Dan Hay, and Windows Central here can confirm via their sources, I believe this is Jess, that it's true, as if there were any reason to doubt it. And 2026 is particularly exciting for the fresh StarCraft shooter rumors. A job listing on Blizzard's website recently suggests that quite possibly the StarCraft shooter will have vehicular gameplay, which makes complete sense. There's so many vehicles in the game itself. Specifically, they say we are looking for a software engineer, gameplay physics, to help craft a new unannounced game for Blizzard. As a key member of the development team, you will be responsible for delivering high quality physics driven gameplay, systems that support vehicle simulation, traversal, and combat experiences. This game has not been announced yet, but I can see this being something they show off at the summer showcase, or they announce at the summer showcase. It would be super hype, or something, maybe at one of the 35th anniversary Blizzard events. I think it would be extremely hype for that. And it really, you can look at something like Space Marine 2, the Space Marine series. They could easily make a game in the StarCraft universe in that vein. So I would love to see this happen. I mean, we already had a game that was canceled, which was a third-person action shooter game in the StarCraft universe. This potentially could be that spiritual successor. So I really hope this is the StarCraft Ghost that we were supposed to get back in the day. But I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new, or hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.